Hello, welcome to Zentangle Explore. I am so glad that you are here to draw with me today. This is a class where we explore one Zentangle pattern really slowly. And we do it in your way, not in my way. And so that's what an exploration is. What you will need is just a couple pieces of paper. This is watercolor paper, small enough that you can hold it in the palm of your hand. And I have a 01 Micron here, so you'll need a pen. I have a Sharpie here, a felt tip Sharpie. But if you just have any old ballpoint and a piece of copy paper, that is absolutely perfect. So my name is Esther Piszczek. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and I'm super excited that you found this class either online or here live because there's students behind every one of these classes, and I'm excited to draw with you today. So I'm going to start with a brief meditation, and then we will explore. So you can get nice and comfortable in your seat if you like. You can close your eyes if you'd like. I'm going to close mine, and we're just going to settle into this space and breathe. Just find your breath. Say, hello, welcome, welcome. Inhale to this moment. There's no need to change it at all. Just notice. Notice the texture, the length of your inhale, how it feels in your body. Perhaps where you can sense it outside of your body, on your skin, maybe your clothing, maybe an expansion or contraction of your chest, back, or belly. Notice the baby little rest at the top of the inhale before the release of the exhale. Allow that to be a little moment, a little pause. And releasing all of the air on the exhale. Knowing that fresh air, fresh oxygen will be replaced as soon as you inhale again. Allowing your body to rest on the seat or the chair or the bed or the floor or the bench or the ground, wherever you are in the world, wherever you are in this moment. Perhaps feel the gentle tug of gravity, the holding of the earth, allowing all of you to come into this moment and to rest fully and completely as you breathe. Knowing that whatever you were doing before this moment, whatever comes after this moment, will be there for you waiting, patiently waiting. Now is the time for resting and breathing and allowing. Allowing yourself to breathe exactly as you're breathing without judgment. The gentle acceptance that this is how you are showing up right now, however that is. And when you're ready, you can take a big inhale. Let's take an inhale together. And a nice sighing exhale, making sound if you'd like. Ah. Nice big inhale together. And a releasing exhale. Oh. One more big inhale together. Letting it all go on the exhale. Ah. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Know that whatever we create together will be perfect just as it is. Okay. Thank you so much. I love doing a little breathing and centering and just letting everything go and flow away before drawing. And I love making sound just to make sound. It's a really good way to soothe the nervous system. It's a little vibration in your body. It's really, really pleasant. So that's why we do that. All right, so let's draw. I am going to change my camera. So I have a couple pieces of watercolor paper here that are just kind of small. You may want more than one in case you want to start a new exploration. Anytime. I have a 01 Micron. I have a Sharpie, but again, if you just have a ballpoint, that's fine. And if you even have a color, even better. Whatever it is you want to draw with is perfectly fine. So let's get started. So this is a new tangle that I have just been playing with this week that I created actually. And it's based on a decorative mirror frame at a cheesecake factory in Texas, in Arlington, Texas. And I really loved the shape of this. So it's a very organic tangle. I'm just going to start with a little hook here. And the whole thing comes back together. So we're going to give ourselves some space. And we're drawing so slowly, so slowly. So this has a little bit of a spiral to it, and I'm giving it some extra room because you don't yet know what happens here. And then the end of this is really wide. And this tangle is called small I, Y, E. And then it comes back and joins. So this is kind of a crazy little shape. And then you can start another one. I'm just going to start another one right here. So what I love about this tangle is that its construction allows you to play with negative spaces that are constantly changing. And it's a wonky line. You can make this as bumpy as you want, as crazy as you want. And the idea is that it comes back. And so we're making what, when I was teaching grade schoolers, they would call it bubble shapes. So if this were a bubble, it would have space on the inside. And then we have these negative spaces that are just aura lines. And I love playing with aura tangles because all you're doing is following along with the line that came before. And once you get the hang of this, you can really decide how you want to draw it and how you want these to go together. If you want to go if you want to go all the way around or just partially around, what do you want that end to look like? And this is an exploration class. So this is all about taking the idea of this tangle and then using it in whatever way you want to use it. So I have this little U shape on the end, but does it have to be a U shape? It does not. What if both sides were wide and the middle was thin? What if both sides were thin? What if you took this shape, and I'll do it right here, and just went out into space and made it more elongated instead of curling it around in the center? What if you used that as a beginning to cross over where you stop and you draw behind? And you make these shapes like little roads. Maybe it's thin and then it gets fat in the middle and then it gets thin again. You can explore this in whatever way your pen wants to explore. And you can start a new exploration whenever you want, either on a different piece of paper, or just on a different space on your page. And breathe, 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 breathe. Allowing your breath to slow down your pen, release that grip. Knowing that whatever you're drawing, it's not really about what shows up on the page, but about paying attention and noticing. How are you feeling? Is this enjoyable? Is there a way that you can bring more comfort into your body? Is there something that you want to explore that maybe you're holding yourself back from doing because you think that it's to this or to that? This is such an organic tangle that anything you do with it is absolutely perfect. Our lines are so delightful because they just allow us to follow the leader. And whatever that previous line is doing, just follow along. And so I'm super excited about exploring this tangle specifically in a Zentangle Explore class because we create all these negative spaces that we can go then and either color in our little eye shapes or color in between the shapes, either with shading or watercolor or marker. And it's going to create a very interesting, a really interesting landscape um, in the end. And this tangle doesn't have a lot of black in it. And creative black is a really great way to ground your tangle. So one of the ways we can do that is just to randomly allow your eye or your pen to choose. Not get all hyper about where. Just pick some places and weight the line, which means you're making it just a touch darker. Just to add some grounding places for your eye to land when you look at the piece. Rounding out corners is always a good way to add creative black. I can already see that I could play with this piece for a really long time. And this is a Zentangle Explore class, which means that we take the element, this shape, and then we explore it any way you want to explore it. You can make it bigger, you can make it longer, you can make it shorter, you can make it thicker or wider. You can go for more triangular shapes or rectangular shapes. You can take the shapes off the page. You can spiral them, you can open them up. You can start drawing from the back of the tangle. as opposed to the front, where you can draw the original shape and just continue drawing that. Sometimes it's just really pleasing to take the original and just draw it over and over and over, following the ink, just watching it appear on the page. And so the only thing about this that gets a little bit tricky is which direction you're going in and where you're going to meet up with that original starting point. And so, because it's an exploration, it's a really wonderful opportunity to just play around with that. And if it gets a little bit cockamamie and you end up in a kind of a dead end, that's okay. You can just end your line and say, wow, well, that was something that I learned. And maybe I want to play around with that concept again and do it on purpose this time instead of accidentally. Turn your tile, look at it from a different way, draw from a different vantage point. You can play with the negative space and making wider areas or narrower areas. Just breathing and drawing really slowly with this continuous line tangles. I love continuous line tangles, and sometimes I get a little too excited and then my pen just wants to speed up. I have to bring myself back to my breath. Slow back down. So I've been thinking this week about what I'm calling the sacred pause. Excuse me. Sacred pause. And we have a little sacred pause in our breath. The top of the inhale, there's a little rest. At the bottom of the exhale, there's a little rest. And so while I was driving, I was thinking about how stoplights tell us when to stop. And yellow lights tell us caution. Yellow lights tell us when to be careful and watch out, go slow. Green lights tell us when to go. Now, wouldn't it be nice if our life told us when to stop and have caution and when to go? And as I was thinking about it, I was thinking, wow, well, actually, we do have that. We have our intuition, our instincts, our little inner knowing. It's not quite, it's always at least for me, a gentle whisper as opposed to a big red light in my face. Sometimes it can be a big red light in my face. And then there's the stop sign. And the stop sign can be a full stop, or sometimes people call it, what I used to say when I was younger, a stoptional. Kind of just briefly pause, look both ways, and go. So I started to wonder, what if I began to honor the sacred pause in my life as a stop sign? And think about it as a stop sign, like a little safety check where I can pause between activities and breathe and allow myself to transition into the next, whatever it is that's happening, whatever it is that I'm doing, but to acknowledge the ending of one thing and the beginning of the next. I'm wondering whether that would help me to feel less stressed, to celebrate whatever it is that I've done, accomplished, practiced, learned. Instead of just rushing on to the next thing, I would have that sacred pause. Maybe a full, deep, conscious breath, maybe 2 or 3 deep, conscious breaths, belly breaths, and perhaps even a moment of reflection to say, this is ending, this moment, this time, whatever it is, this is ending. And now I'm preparing in that sacred pause to go to the next thing, whatever that thing is. And I find it really incredible that something so practical and safety oriented, like a stop sign or stop lights, green lights, red lights, yellow lights, is really a helpful tool for living my life. And all this time, I really thought that it was just about traffic rules and what the Department of Transportation says I have to do in order to respect the other drivers on the road, to keep everybody safe in community as we travel about. But that's also true the more I think about it, and how I honor and keep myself safe, respecting the boundaries of the beginning of something that I'm doing or even contemplating, and the ending. Because even our breath has beginning and ending. The inhale and a little rest, and then the exhale and a little rest. And so we can think about breathing as just breathing, something we have to do to stay alive. Or we can think about it as this beautiful inner guidance system and tool for regulating our nervous system, for bringing in new oxygen, for helping our brains to think, bringing clarity into the moment, helping to soothe our jangled nerves. It's really amazing to have this lovely tool, and we get to choose what to do with it, which is so incredible. We can ignore it and it just keeps cycling around and keeping us alive, or we can bring attention to it in a conscious way and allow it to help us and serve us in a much deeper way than just letting our breath cycle around. without thinking about it, or we can breathe in ways that make us more tense and more upset. Shallow breathing, not allowing enough oxygen in, breathing very quickly, holding our breath. My first kind of introduction and awareness to really what was happening in my life, what I wanted. And I really began, I think, changing things and becoming aware, consciously aware of what I was doing, what I was thinking, instead of just being automatically going through my life, was a realization many, many years ago that I couldn't remember taking a single conscious breath the entire day. And that was such an eye-opening moment. And I decided that that was not how I wanted to live my life, just on automatic pilot, allowing whatever happens to me without any of my own conscious interaction. I wanted to be able to engage with my life and be a partner, allow my body to be a partner instead of just this automatic kind of machine that pumps the blood and draws in oxygen and releases CO2. But that I'm not really a part of, because I am a very big part of it. Having that realization was really amazing. And even now, even this week, I went to see a naturopath. She asked me about my stress level, and I said it was automatically, my response was high. And so she prescribed, quote unquote, on my little takeaway sheet, 100 deep belly breaths a day. And I am a big fan of breathing, and I recommend it to everybody. Excuse me, but it's sometimes hard to remember to do it when we need it the most. And obviously, I'm always breathing, or I wouldn't be here talking to you. I would have expired earlier this week. Fortunately, I did not. But consciously taking deep belly breaths is a lot different than just breathing. And so after she told me that, and I started consciously doing that, I realized that my original awareness all those years ago is still something that I'm practicing, which is consciously breathing, consciously taking deep breaths, being aware of my lungs, where the breath is in my body, that beautiful rest at the top, the rest at the bottom. It really shows us how to go through the birth and death cycle that happens over and over and over again. Our entire life, in a year, in a week, in a month, and even in a complete minute. Everything is changing all the time, especially now. It's changing so much, so fast, so quickly, all around us. And there's very little of it that we actually have any control over. But what we do have control over is our breath. We have control over how we interact with this moment, how we choose to live inside our bodies. And our breath is such a huge part of that, and our awareness of that breath. It's really magical. We realize that we have control over the most important thing there is to have control over, and that's our breath. It's our umbilical cord to life. That is so powerful. Such a powerful realization for me. And it's also really great to know that it's a lifelong practice. No matter how old we get, we will be breathing if we are still alive. And so it's never too late. It's never, ever too late to tune into the breath, to use it as a tool, to embrace it as a partner, to remember it. Your breath will never say to you, nope, too late. You ignored me too long. Too bad for you. No more breathing. Fortunately, that does not happen. Fortunately, bodies want to live. And so they keep breathing no matter what we're doing. And that is amazing. I love drawing, and I love that all of you are drawing with me, whether you are in person or on the replay. It's so soothing and relaxing and affirming for me just to be creative, to be creative. No outcome, nothing to produce, just time to breathe. Following the line, watching the ink, slowing down. Trying new things. Saying yes to whatever shows up on the page. Say, yes, wonky line. I think you are cool. Let's do more. Let's see how crazy I can make this shape. Just because. For no other reason than I can. Because this is my time right now. And I get to do whatever I want with it. And what I draw doesn't need to look anything like what Esther's drawing or what anybody else in the world is drawing. It's this one perfect line. Perfect because it exists and for no other reason. And it will never exist again exactly like it does right now. And that makes it a perfect line. If there's only one in all the world, in all of the cosmos that looks exactly like this, then it has to be perfect. Because no one else can draw it that way again, even you. And it's so incredible. You spend your entire life changing, you'd never be able to draw the exact same line again. You are not a machine. You are a human. And humans are amazing. And I think that's what all this AI stuff is making me realize is how amazing humans are. It really gives me a fabulous appreciation. How unique and crazy and wonderful and wild and beautiful and astounding humans are. And I was standing, I don't know where I was, but I was in a crowd of people and looking, and I said to my husband, like, oh my gosh, it's just so amazing. You know, two hands, for the most part, people have two hands, 2 feet, 10 fingers, 10 toes, a nose, two eyes, mouth, two ears. But the number of variations of those components is astounding. Absolutely astounding. Just the tiniest little angle change changes an entire face. Little bone structure changes everything when you look at somebody. And to have all of those humans and none of them even identical twins who are exactly the same, it's just crazy and wild and wonderful and fabulous. And it makes it easier to appreciate people who can sometimes be difficult and have different opinions, opinions that we may not agree with, opinions that we do not like. Just slow down and appreciate that all of their parts, we have all those same parts. And all of those differences make us unique and wonderful. And really, it's a celebration of the creativity of creation itself. And we can also see that all of the ideas and concepts that they believe in or that they are exploring within themselves as a part of creation, that all of those ideas and concepts, whether we agree with them or we don't agree with them, whether we think they're dangerous or we think that they're like the best thing ever, filled with love and light, that they too are a part of creation and that that's magical. And at least for me, brings me into a space of compassion and understanding and allowing that they get to be their version of who they are as well as I do. And that we are not different. We are not different, but we are not, one is not better than the other. They just are. And all parts make up the whole, even the parts we don't like. So when I get upset about something or think, well, that's not right, and they don't know, and all the stress, come back to that stop sign of my breath, that sacred pause, and say, just allow that to be as well. Allow whatever that is to also be a part of creation, knowing that my judgment only serves to increase my stress level, keep me from appreciating my breath, calming down, enjoying this moment as fully as I possibly can. Know that they are my equal in every way, and the right to be a part of creation. Just like every one of my lines on the page, whether I like the line or not, whether I judge it as a mistake, I always say, oh, it's out of pattern. Oh, what was I thinking? Oh, why can't my line be a straight line? Rah, rah, rah. It's all the same. That type of judgment is the same as the judgment of somebody else's ideas, somebody else's way of doing things. We think we know how to do it better, easier, quicker, more perfectly. In the end, we're all just here doing the very best we can, the information we have in the moment. And some people have learned things quicker than other people, and that's okay, because if we were all learning the exact same things, we would all be bored. If we're all the exact same, we all look the same thing, we would be bored. If we all thought the same thing, we would be bored. And I don't think any of us came here to be bored. It's way too crazy of a world. There's way too much stuff going on. So when the outside world overwhelms me, I come back to the page and I draw simple lines and I breathe. And it's so calming and helps me remember that all of that is just a lot of noise, and that I have control about how much of that noise I allow into my life. And I have control over my breath and whether or not I'm consciously breathing, whether or not I'm honoring that sacred pause, whether I'm seeing that stop sign as an annoyance or as a gift, something that's helping me to slow down, to really notice my life and my part in it, and my body, the vehicle of my consciousness. It is magical. Okay, so let's see what I have drawn here. I have these two explorations. One is with this Sharpie and the other is with this 01. So you see the line's a little bit thicker. I didn't go off and explore too wildly, but I hope that you did. Sometimes I just get into the original pattern and I can't stop. So I think I will add color. It's going to be really fun. I'm going to change my camera. Hello. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed exploring I with me. And if you would like to know more about my classes, you can find me at eternalpossibility.com. And this is a donation. It's a free class, but if you would like to donate to these classes, you can do so at paypal.me/eternalpossibility. And I hope that you check out more of my videos on YouTube.